Why INFJs feel drained around most people. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely exhausted, even though nothing bad happened? You didn't argue. You didn't overshare. You didn't even talk that much. Yet somehow, your energy is gone. If you're an INFJ, this probably isn't rare. It's normal. And today, we're going to explain exactly why. This isn't about being antisocial. It's not about hating people. And it's definitely not about being weak. INFJs get drained around most people for very specific psychological reasons. And once you understand them, something powerful happens. You stop blaming yourself. You stop forcing connections. And you finally learn how to protect your energy without guilt. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand the reasons why INFJs feel drained around most people, and why it was never a flaw to begin with. 1. INFJs absorb emotional energy. The first reason INFJs feel drained around most people is simple, but incredibly intense. INFJs absorb emotional energy. They don't just hear words. They don't just listen to what's being said. They feel moods before anyone explains them. They notice micro-expressions most people miss. They sense emotional shifts that happen in seconds. A slight pause. A change in tone. A forced smile that doesn't reach the eyes. INFJs pick up on all of it. When someone walks into a room stressed, INFJs feel it in their body. When someone masks sadness with humor, INFJs feel the sadness underneath. When someone is uncomfortable but pretending everything's fine, INFJs feel the discomfort before the words ever come. And here's where the exhaustion begins. Most people don't consciously process their emotions. They don't stop to sort through what they're feeling. They don't release it. They carry it. They carry frustration from work, unspoken resentment, anxiety they haven't named, sadness they haven't allowed themselves to feel. And when an INFJ is around them, that emotional weight doesn't stay contained. So INFJs aren't just interacting with personalities. They're interacting with emotional undercurrents happening beneath the surface. It's like walking into a room where the air feels heavy, even though no one says a word. Imagine carrying several invisible backpacks that aren't yours. You didn't pack them. You didn't choose them. But you feel the weight anyway. That's what social interaction can feel like for an INFJ. By the time the conversation ends, their nervous system has been working non-stop, regulating, absorbing, holding space. Even if nothing deep was discussed, even if the conversation seemed normal, that constant emotional absorption is exhausting. 2. INFJs are always reading between the lines. The second reason INFJs feel drained around people is mental exhaustion. INFJs don't take things at face value. They can't, their minds aren't wired that way. Their intuition automatically searches for meaning. What did they really mean by that? Why did their energy shift just now? Was that honesty or politeness? Did that comment come from insecurity or frustration? This isn't overthinking. This is intuitive pattern recognition. INFJs are constantly connecting dots. They notice inconsistencies between words and behavior. They sense when something doesn't align emotionally. And here's the thing most people don't realize. Most conversations are filled with unspoken subtext. Social expectations. Hidden emotions. Things people want to say but don't. INFJs hear all of it. Small talk drains INFJs not because it's shallow, but because it forces them to suppress their natural depth. They're processing layers of meaning, while pretending not to. They're responding to what's being said, while internally registering what isn't. It's like watching a movie with the sound turned off. While everyone else hears the dialogue clearly, you can still follow the story, but it takes more effort. That constant mental decoding burns energy. So after being around people for a while, INFJs don't feel bored. They don't feel annoyed. They feel mentally spent. Their mind has been working the entire time, quietly, invisibly, non-stop. 3. INFJs mirror others without realizing it. The third reason INFJs feel drained around most people is subtle, and often completely unconscious. INFJs mirror others. They adapt themselves to whoever they're with. They match emotional energy. They adjust their communication style. They soften their presence for sensitive people. They sharpen it for more assertive personalities. Most of the time, INFJs don't even realize they're doing this. It's instinctive, it's protective, and it's rooted in empathy. But here's the cost. When you're always adjusting, you're rarely fully yourself. INFJs can leave conversations feeling strangely disconnected. Not because anything went wrong, but because something essential was missing. Themselves. They might think, why do I feel tired? Why do I feel off? Then later realize, I wasn't really present as me. Mirroring keeps interactions smooth. It prevents conflict. It helps others feel comfortable. But over time, it pulls INFJs away from their own internal state. Their preferences get muted. Their emotions get delayed. Their needs get postponed. That's why after too much socializing, INFJs crave solitude. Not because they dislike people. Not because they're antisocial. But because they need to return to themselves. To feel their own emotions again. To hear their own thoughts clearly. To reset their inner world. Alone time isn't indulgence for INFJs. It isn't avoidance. It's recalibration. For shallow interactions feel emotionally empty. INFJs crave meaning. Not constant intensity. Not trauma bonding. Just authenticity. When conversations stay surface level for too long, INFJs feel unfulfilled. Talking about trends, gossip, or repetitive topics isn't wrong. It's just not nourishing for INFJs. Imagine eating food that fills your stomach but gives no nutrients. That's how many social interactions feel to an INFJ. They leave full, but unsatisfied. And that emotional emptiness feels like exhaustion. INFJs don't need deep talks all the time. But they need realness. Even a little. Without it, socializing feels like performing instead of connecting. 5. INFJs carry conversations emotionally. INFJs often become the emotional anchor in conversations. People vent to them, confide in them, lean on them. INFJs listen deeply. They validate sincerely. They care fully. But here's what most people don't see. INFJs don't just listen. They internalize. They think about what you said hours later. They worry about how you're feeling. They replay conversations in their mind. That emotional responsibility adds up. Even positive interactions can feel heavy when INFJs are carrying more than their share. This is why INFJs can feel drained even after helping someone they love. 6. INFJs struggle with boundaries. Many INFJs struggle to say no. Not because they're weak, but because they understand how rejection feels. They don't want to disappoint. They don't want to hurt feelings. They don't want to abandon someone emotionally. So they stay longer than they should. They give more than they have. They override their own exhaustion. And eventually, their body forces a shutdown. The draining feeling isn't a flaw. It's feedback. It's your system saying, you've gone past your limit. 7. INFJs need solitude to process life. INFJs don't recharge through people. They recharge through solitude. Not loneliness. Intentional alone time. They need quiet to organize thoughts. They need space to process emotions. They need stillness to hear their intuition. When INFJs don't get enough solitude, everything feels heavier. Conversations feel louder. People feel overwhelming. Being drained around others often means the INFJ hasn't had enough time alone. Solitude isn't avoidance. It's maintenance. 8. INFJs feel misunderstood more than they admit. The final reason INFJs feel drained around most people is subtle but powerful. They often feel unseen. Not ignored. Not unloved. Just, not fully understood. INFJs rarely express their inner world completely. It feels too complex. Too vulnerable. So when they're around people who don't truly get them, there's a quiet disconnect. They're present, but not fully met. That gap creates emotional fatigue over time. INFJs aren't asking for constant understanding. They just need a few safe connections where they can be fully themselves. Without that, socializing starts to feel like emotional translation work. If you're an INFJ who feels drained around most people, hear this clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. Your nervous system is sensitive for a reason. Your depth is intentional. Your need for solitude is valid. The goal isn't to change who you are. It's to protect your energy. Choose fewer, deeper connections. Honor your need for alone time. Stop forcing yourself into environments that drain you. When INFJs stop fighting their nature, they stop feeling broken, and they start feeling powerful. If this resonated with you, you're not alone. And you never were.